a way to share this recording once we are finished. If you are following me on Instagram, you will see this live on my page, and you can always hop over to the Living Well Now Facebook page, or ask me for the replay, and I'll send you the replay so that you can see the slides as well. I think you're going to really like what I have planned for you tonight, especially if you are someone who has maybe gotten a slower start to 2023. That's been my story in particular. Or perhaps you started off really strong with your goals in 2023 and your resolutions, and you picked a word of the year and everything was going well, and then boom, you got derailed for whatever reason. Well, I am here tonight to kind of bring you back, kind of explain and show you why that may have happened to you, what you can do about it. And we're going to do an interactive process using essential oils that will help draw you into an experience of clearing out those blockers, and perhaps set you on a path for the rest of your evening, and even into tomorrow that will bless your life. So to get us started today, if you are joining me on Zoom, go ahead and chat into the comment for me, or into the chat box, so I know everybody knows where it is, because it'll be a great way for us to stay in touch throughout the presentation. If you have questions and things like that, I can always come back and address those at the end. This is a 30-minute time commitment, so if you're in the middle of making dinner, just know, like I said, that I'll have the recording to send. It'll be added to our Living Well Now YouTube channel, as well as other places where you find me on social media. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about a little bit about who I am, because some of you, this may be your first experience with my expertise in aroma freedom as an aroma freedom practitioner. Let me just get this full screen. My name is Angela Lehman, and I was a teacher when I was trained in college to go into the classroom and help young people everywhere realize their potential. And I did that off and on for 10 years, and also have been raising a family of my own since 1999. We started using essential oils from Young Living in 2007, and finally got serious in 2012 when I became a health and business coach with Living Well Now. That's my family's business, and I'm super excited that we are still actively pursuing our goals and dreams with this business. It's opened up so many great opportunities, including meeting a lot of you. So I'm really grateful for the ways our paths have connected. And if this is our first time meeting, I hope it won't be our last. I got remarried in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and added Jerry and 2 teenagers to our brood. And so now we've got one in college, one a senior, one a junior, and one a sophomore. We just kind of keep raising them up and out every year. Especially right now, you heard me mention maybe at the beginning that being 2023 and almost March, I have not yet made a vision board for the new year. I just haven't done it, y'all. My mom passed away at the end of November, and that was super traumatic, and continues to be part of my mourning and grieving process, is carrying on with the heaviness of grief, as well as her kind of always just stellar and constant encouragement to chase after what I long for. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to share some of this with you, because these were some of her favorite techniques and tools, and I can't wait to share them with you as well. I can't take full credit for the information that will be presented today. It was first written about by Dr. Benjamin Purkis and created by Dr. Purkis. You can find him at aromafreedom.com online. But he's a clinical psychologist who realized in his private practice that using some of our essential oil blends as well as mixtures could really help shift an attitude or a current action to be more positive. And so, and really help move the needle on breaking through with goals. So he's an author and a trainer. I was just on an event with him this morning, and you too can get more information by going to aromafreedom.com. All right, so this is not going to be a deep dive on how to set goals. I want to be really clear about that because it may be that you were expecting to sort of hear the old shtick about setting, making a vision, setting intentions, making a vision board. But today, I'm just going to focus on what gets in our way and help you clear some of that out. But if you need that initial starting point, I already have a video created for you. If you text the words goal video to my text number, 623-439-4910. You can have that delivered to your phone. And it's like a 7-minute video. It's under 10 minutes, 7-minute video going into how to set goals, why it's so important to get clear about your goals, what to write down. I really go into some specifics on SMART goals, but you can text the words goal video to 623-439-4910 to receive that. So let's talk about why we are unclear. Obviously, if you wouldn't be here if you were crystal clear on what was going to happen next. So obviously we change, right? We evolve and we change, especially for those of us who are committed to personal development and a growth mindset. We find ourselves shifting and changing with circumstances. Gosh, even sometimes with the weather. Situations will change, much like I explained at the beginning. I went through a divorce. I was a single mom. I met my husband. We, joined two families together. Our situations change. It doesn't have to be as drastic as mine. Let me assure you, it can be something really simple. Maybe a schedule change in your day. And it can throw us off, something very, very small. Sometimes the people that we follow change, our role models or our mentors. As we grow and become more mature, our ideologies and our beliefs sometimes change. And it's okay to question those and make adjustments accordingly. Our set conditions or our limitations change. Maybe we find ourselves in a more abundant opportunity or a more scarce opportunity. But I'm curious, for those of you who are watching with me on Zoom, what jumps out at you? What's changed in your life that is making you unclear? Because the last one, I think, is what we're going to kind of hinge into a little bit more, because our unresolved emotional traumas will impact us, not just now, but in the future as well. So how are your unresolved emotional traumas impacting you? Even things that happened a long time ago, what are they still doing to hold you back from creating your dreams? I'm glad to see that a lot of you are, working at what it means to get clear, what it means to jump into clarity with regards to honoring and acknowledging change. It is the only thing that we can expect, right? We have to get used to it. We have to embrace change. So I saw this posted on Jen Hatmaker's Instagram story this week. If y'all aren't following Jen, I highly recommend her as a thought leader, and she's super hysterical. She writes really, really well. But she talked about, why did we say the things we said, right? And why do we keep replaying those situations over and over and over in our heads? How is it possible that we find ourselves in what she termed shame spirals, which I think she probably got from Brené, right? Brené Brown. But that shame spiral, there's one shame thing you did that still haunts you to this day. Maybe you sent a group email. Maybe you a reply all and you didn't mean to. Maybe you tripped walking up the stairs and people laughed and it still impacts you and makes you concerned to walk upstairs. Maybe it was something less noticeable. Maybe it was not following a recipe and taking it to the church potluck and realizing that it was not so good or whatever. But what is the one shame thing that you did one time that still haunts you? And I keep saying the one shame thing, but there are multiple triggers, right? And part of this is because traumatic situations linger. Our brains don't have anywhere to process them. It's not like it's a simple memory that we kind of filter through our amygdala and file away in our brain's filing system. Traumatic memories do this looping thing. They don't settle in a file system because they're still being wrapped around in our subconscious. And that's why it's called a spiral, right? Because your brain's number one priority and role is to protect yourself from the pain of it happening again. So whatever caused you pain at that time, your brain is repeating the cycle so that it doesn't happen again. So we're just going to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it until we deal with it. And that's, again, why we sometimes say insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. What's something that you can change about that circumstance or about that situation that will make it better in the future? If you were on my call last week that I did for our business team, you'll remember that we talked about red light stories. So every time you face a fear and play small, it kills your enthusiasm, belief, and confidence. So a red light story is that thing that when you encounter it again, that's a similar situation or a similar feeling or a similar experience to that trauma that you had, you are going to stop acting. You're just going to halt, right? You're just, maybe it's a dog and you just have a visceral reaction to being passed by a dog because you had a scary experience with one as a child. But nothing helps you engage in that red light story. And you just hold on to the negative and you keep repeating that negative over and over and over again. Also, limiting beliefs. Wouldn't it be nice to get to green light and yellow light stories, by the way? Wouldn't it be nice? Yes, please release me from the red light story and let me breathe again at red light or green light and yellow light even stories. Okay. So limiting beliefs are those things that can hold you back in your brain, right? A belief that is disempowering, it lowers your emotional vibration and keeps you stuck in life. Limiting beliefs are those things that are going to keep you stuck. So here are a few that I found referenced in an article by a woman named Ella. And Ella says our fear of failure and our fear of success both can be blockers to our overcoming whatever's holding us back. So we can be really afraid that we're going to fail, but we can also be really afraid that we're going to succeed. That's why I love this picture on this presentation so much, because essentially we're throwing money away because we don't want or we don't believe that we can be successful or abundant because it's not part of our upbringing, or we were taught to be altruistic and we were taught to be humble, whatever that is. So fear of failure, fear of success. We also limiting beliefs are also tied to our expectations and then the potential outcomes. So if we're experiencing fear and anxiety, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, we spend a lot of time in the what if scenarios. What if this were to happen? And we worry about what is to come in the future instead of focusing on the present. We also struggle in limiting beliefs of worthiness. I'm not good enough. No one likes me. I am avoiding rejection. This is impossible for me. It may be possible for you, but it's impossible for me. And sometimes we get tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is that thing where you believe there's only one solution to the problem, and you just keep trying to fit that square into a circle. So tunnel vision blocks you from being able to see creative solutions that are outside maybe what you've grown accustomed to. There's also a limiting belief of social proof. We see other people around us not having success, or we've surrounded ourselves with people who are kind of negative and naysayers and maybe not as vibrant and optimistic and vibrating at a high frequency in joy. And so we just believe that we're going to be just like our family or just like our friends or just like our coworkers, and stuck in this route because stuck in this rut because they are. And then, of course, we also play our limiting belief of the blame game, believing that there's just not enough time, there's not enough money, I don't have enough support, if only I had X, right? So there are lots of ways that we can push off responsibility and just allow our limiting beliefs to keep us back. So how would you like to get clear? How many people on the call, on our Zoom, how many people would like to get clear about what this looks like? I'm going to stop share for just a second and check in on our chat. I think it's really important at this point that if you do not have a goal specifically laid out for tonight, you take the next few minutes to think about something that's holding you back tonight. Is it you didn't meal plan, so you don't have any meat unfrozen, right? Any meat thawed, so that you don't know what you're going to have for dinner? Is it something that simple? Or did you come on tonight specifically because you're working on getting clear about your goals with your business? Or did you come on tonight because you're getting clear about some of your goals with relationships or your finances? Whatever those are, I would love to see you drop them in the chat so that I can sort of customize what I'm coaching you through during our Aroma Boost session. And you can kind of take some of my words of advice kind of directly to what you're experiencing. So go ahead and leave it in the chat. Go ahead and put it on my live, wherever you're listening to tonight, and let's converse about it. All right, let's go back to here. Can you see my screen share yet? There we go. Okay, so we're getting clear about what our goals are in these areas. One of these areas: relationships, family, maybe your career, like I said earlier, your health, your social life. Maybe it's about clarity on self-care. What are you doing to take care of yourself? Or material desires that you have. What are those things around belief in and where you are lacking belief in yourself, in your health, in your family, around your business? Good. This is awesome. Connecting with new people, vision for business. Awesome. I love it. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight is what's called a 60-second aroma reset. We're going to add in a little part at the end that makes it a boost with an affirmation. But I want to invite you, if you're not an oils user, don't mind me. Go grab an orange from your tree outside, or in your medicine, in your refrigerator, or up in your spice cabinet. Grab something: a rosemary, lemon, fresh orange, a cutie, any of those things that have fresh aromas. If you are an oils user, I picked out a few oils specifically for tonight. One is peppermint oil because it's so invigorating. And then the two others I picked, one is Clarity, which is a blend of mostly peppermint and rosemary. It's probably got some other stuff in it too, y'all. You can look at the label or go to youngliving.com to find out exactly the oils that are in it. But I find this one really refreshing to provide clarity when you're working on goals. Or if you're really having trouble with focus, and it's really hard to stay focused when you're distracted, Brain Power is one of my favorite go-tos. Or if you have the KidSense collection, the other one would be called Genius. So those are two other options that you could use as well, especially if you're dealing with issues of focus. But what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to teach you this quick boost in a second. But what you need to know for it is about feelings, right? Like, you need to understand the feeling that is behind what's blocking you. So yes, we can use our conscious mind and we can think through all the solutions and think. But what's blocking us most often is that emotional center in our brain, our amygdala. And so it's getting kind of cobwebby with the same repeated patterns. It's getting cobwebby with the limiting beliefs. It's getting cobwebbed with the red light stories. So what is it that you're doing that is going to break your brain out of fight or flight protective mode so that you can be more focused, more persistent, more innovative, and even more hopeful? When we shift our mindset, actually the biology of this is like when we're anxious, even when we feel concerned or worried about the future, we do show in our biology increases in oxytocin. I don't know if you realize that or not, which is the social bonding hormone. So the fact that we're doing this in community together tonight on a Zoom, I think really gives you that experience of, I'm experiencing breakthroughs. I'm here with other people who are interested in this. And so I'm in a safe place to do that. So we just haven't educated ourselves enough about these strategies of reframing, of sort of pulling together how we feel about something, where we feel it in our bodies. And that's what we're going to do in a second. So that you can experience a mindset reset. I want to give a quick recommendation, and those of you who follow my Instagram stories know that I've really loved using the How We Feel app. I'm an iPhone user, and I understand it was easy to find in the iPhone app store today, but maybe not as easy for my Android friends. but it's a free resource from Mark Brackett, is part of the design team on this. He is a psychologist at Yale. And Dr. Brackett actually, he's a professor, teaching professor, but he actually has helped design this How We Feel app in order for people to sort of gauge their feelings and get really specific about how they're feeling in a particular time. So as we go through our aroma boost tonight, and you may be feeling high energy, you can see on this picture in front of me, high energy, but you're feeling not as pleasant, you can see where that would intersect in the red quadrant. So high energy tonight, you're feeling kind of anxious, maybe you're feeling kind of nervous about your goals, you're irritated, maybe you're nervous, maybe you're frightened, but to get really specific about what that feeling is will help you clear the old processes that your brain is still holding on to. Or it could be tonight that you're feeling super chill. So you have low energy, but you're feeling a high sense of pleasantness. So perhaps you're okay with where your goals are and you're satisfied and it's enough, but maybe it's not. So let's begin. And I'm gonna actually, I'm actually going to go back to that slide when we need it for the feelings, but I want you to think of a situation related to your goal that feels stressful, overwhelming, or frustrating. So if lots of situations come to mind, choose only one. So a lot of you had goals tonight related to connecting with new people, belief in yourself, growing with other business-oriented folks, or what we call in Young Living brand partners. Get really clear about a better sense of self. So pick one thing, a situation that feels overwhelming, stressful, or frustrating. This is the technique I'm going to teach you tonight. Once you have that selected, go ahead and write it in the chat, just one word. Or not, it's fine. I already kind of got your background. So what's the one word feeling that you get when you picture that situation? What is it that situation brings up for you? And keep in mind that you could be on, you probably will start over here on the left side of the chart, which are the more high energy, low pleasantness, or low energy, low pleasantness. Remember, low energy, low pleasantness would be things like, I feel exhausted, I feel disappointed, I feel discouraged, despair, I feel alienated. Okay, those are some words that may describe how you're feeling in your current state. That would be low energy, low pleasantness. Now, where do you feel that feeling in your body? So I see a couple of you wrote in fear, overwhelmed. Okay. Get really clear with overwhelmed too. Is it about being exhausted? Is overwhelm? I mean, overwhelm is like I'm scattered or I'm exhausted. Get really specific about what it is, and then find where you feel it in your body. Where do you hold that feeling in your body? Sometimes we say, gosh, I feel sick to my stomach when I think about reaching out to somebody new. So maybe we're holding fear in our stomachs, so to speak. Sometimes we say, oh, I'm so angry that person didn't write me back. Family member, friend, colleague. Angry that I didn't hear back from that person. Where do we feel that? Maybe in our chest, solar plexus, right? Places that we can hold on to it. What is the negative thought that connects to that feeling? What's the limiting belief for the negative thought? We've reviewed some of those as we've gotten started. What's your shame spiral that connects to that feeling? I always get rejected. I'll never be as successful as so-and-so. So this whole idea of oiling up is intended to help shift the old processing in your brain. So that's why I said you can use a fruit, you can use an herb, you can use anything that smells good, natural fragrance in your house, literal natural fragrance in your house. But if you have oils, highly suggest that you pull out an oil. I have a blend that I made specifically for Aroma Freedom sessions. It's 1 drop each of Stress Away, frankincense, and lavender. Maybe for tonight, you want to use Clarity or Brain Power. Maybe for tonight, you want to use lemon. Whatever it is, pick an oil. And just to say it again, the memory release mixture that I'm using is 1 drop or equal parts Stress Away, frankincense, and lavender. So you're going to place that memory release blend into your palms or whatever oil or scent you've chosen. Rub your hands together, cup your hands over your nose and mouth, and then just breathe in. Breathe into the picture of the situation for about a minute and see what you notice. So now decide what's next. Is there a relaxing feeling that happens? And are you feeling more calm and clear after that first round? In a reset, you would just get on with the rest of your life, the rest of your day. We're at 5:30, which I promised you this call would be about 30 minutes, but it looks like it's going to go over by about 10. So if you need to hop off, I totally understand. And I will make sure that you have access to our YouTube link when it is finished. But maybe something shifted and you still feel some emotional charge. So let's go back and we're going to do another reset on the situation that you started with. So stick with the same situation and go back to the beginning of it. You're choosing one and bring about a mental picture of the situation. What is the one word feeling you get when you pictured the situation? So go back to your feelings. And yes, there is a replay in our YouTube channel, Living Well Now YouTube channel. One word feeling you get when you picture that situation. Where do you feel that feeling in your body? What is the negative thought that connects to your feeling? And then place the oil back into your palms. Maybe you choose a different oil this time. Maybe you use the same one. Hold them to your nose. Let them do the hard work of shifting your amygdala's response. Breathe the oils into the picture of the situation. And then see what you notice. Make some notes to yourself. Chances are likely that using the essential oils are creating more of a calm, relaxing response, as opposed to the reaction that you usually face. So allow your inner wisdom the voice of God, your intuition, inner guidance system, whatever it is you call it, to give you some wisdom, and write it down. It may be that you're deciding that this was a good start, but you need something more. I'm going to give you an invitation for something more in a few minutes. But right now, I want us to take how far you've come and start to activate an affirmation. So one of the things that Richard Bliss Brooke teaches in Mach 2 with your hair on fire, I'll say it again, the book is called Mach 2 with your hair on fire. It's by Richard Bliss Brooke. He talks about how belief has to be grounded in motivation. And these are 5 forces to motivation. I should have written them on this slide and I didn't. So let me not confuse you. So 5 forces to self-motivation. So where are you finding enthusiasm? Courage. What would you do if you could get yourself and keep yourself courageous enough to do it anyway? Persistence, creativity, and then there's that cool idea of a green light story or a green light interpretation. So those are 5 forces to being self-motivated. What we're going to do is we're going to activate an affirmation to help anchor some of what you are bringing about in your goals and vision with the Aroma Boost tonight. So the first step of that is to identify an action step that's needed for this situation. So when I look at some of your comments in the chats, you're feeling helpless, you're feeling discouraged. Hopefully using your oil blends have helped shift some of that, the heaviness of that, and you're feeling a little bit lighter and able to do something to get out of the victim state or to get out of the old rut that you were in. So what is the next action step needed for this situation? Is it about calling someone, texting someone, a small action that you can take? Is it about calling DoorDash for dinner tonight, right? We talked about that one maybe being one of the things that's holding you back is not having planned for dinner. So what's the next action step needed in this situation? And then picture yourself doing this step. And name the positive feeling you feel when you picture it happening. And then we're going to create an affirmation that integrates all of the elements. So, for example, I feel excited in my heart as I call DoorDash. Do you even call DoorDash? I'm sorry. I'm so out of it. I'm such a Gen Xer. I have no idea. Gen Y, what am I? I'm so not a millennial, but whatever you do with DoorDash, right? I feel excitement, or I feel confident in my smile as I reach out to 5 new people tonight. I feel courageous in my gut as I schedule my events for March. So you're going back to choosing. Let me know in the chat if you're having trouble following along with this part. But you're going back to your situation, what's cleared from that old situation, and what's an action step that you can take, and affirm yourself as if you are doing this step. The next goal is to find a power pose that expresses the energy of the statement. So, for example, arms above your head. You can stand up for these. I always put clothes on so I can do these full out, okay? Arms above your head in a power pose. Power pose is also a Wonder Woman pose like this. Power pose can also be kind of a yoga pose called Tadasana, or with prayer pose with your hands here. But a pose that is strength giving, right? Strength giving for your pose. Then you're going to choose an oil blend or a different scent. So maybe you had out your rosemary oil for the beginning and now, or your lemon oil, and now you're going to get out something else to anchor it in. So today I've been using the oil blend Believe. Another of my favorites is Transformation. Another blend favorite is Abundance, any of those. You're just going to put a drop into your palm and you're going to say this affirmation out loud. I feel confident in my gut as I text my invitations. Send out, happy man, whatever you pick. But it's an action and you feel a positive emotion in your part of your body with an oil blend, and you're going to say your affirmation aloud. Let's see some of your affirmations in the comments. While you're writing those in, be mindful that you may want to record yourself saying your affirmation on your phone, or you may want to write it down on a Post-it note and stick it by your toothbrush so that tonight when you're brushing your teeth, you can repeat your affirmation to yourself. And you probably want to do that action step. That is probably an action step that you want to accomplish and do in the next 24 hours. An aroma boost is intended to put you into immediate action to help overcome the limiting factors that you've been holding on to. So if you pick one action step, something that you can do in the next 24 hours, that will help release those old negative behaviors that are keeping you stuck and move you closer to that yellow light and green light story. Yes, good one. Good one, good one. Okay, so what's next from this? So you may have run into some extra blockers, like, okay, and this was great, but it was only 15 minutes. I want to dive in deeper because I want to uncover where the limiting belief came from. I want to uncover why I'm still holding on to patterns and tendencies from my past. I want to dig into more specifically what needs to be cleared so that I can move forward. So that would be one of my full aroma freedom sessions, or a traumatic memory release session. Those are one-on-ones. Also, aroma wisdom is another process that you can look for as well. I don't have one of those on the schedule at this time, but I could walk through that with you one-on-one if you chose to. And then of course you can do this process every day for the next few days to help keep pushing through those old limiting beliefs that are causing your overwhelm and stress or frustration. So what I'm giving you tonight is an opportunity to text in the word boost to my number, 623-439-4910. And that will send you a printout of the steps that we just went through tonight that you can either pull up on your phone and use, or you can print them much like I did here to walk through what we've just done together. And I also included on the back side the affirmation. So you can have that just by texting the word boost to my number, 623-439-4910. And then I'm going to follow up with you in 3 days' time, because I think it would work really well if you started to use it tomorrow and Thursday and Friday to kind of start off your month with aroma boost work. So being consistent about taking a situation, you notice it didn't take a whole lot of time, taking a situation, determining the feeling you have about the situation, where you feel that feeling in your body, a negative thought that's connected to it, and then use your oils to clear it out and make room for action. I'll have more information coming. I did not get an event up before we but before we met tonight, but I figured if you do the aroma boost for the next 3 days, then you'll be ready for the full aroma freedom session on March 8th. I'm still working out, I want to be fair in the world of aroma freedom practitioners. So I'm still working out my pricing, but I will have that information available for you in the event. It will be, I'll make sure you get it if you have connected with me tonight and want to do more and dive in more. It's going to be it's going to be under $20. So don't stress out that I'm charging $1 million for a group session. But that will be on March 8th at 5 p.m. So a week from tomorrow at 5 p.m. We'll do that monthly aroma freedom session. As we close tonight, I heard this quote from, and I wrote down how to say his name, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He passed away in October of 2021, but he is the author of Flow, Finding Flow. Really, really cool book about how we kind of lose ourselves in our work and our passions. But what he said is, I discovered that happiness is not something that happens. It's not just the result of good fortune or random change. It is not something that money can buy or power can command. It does not depend on outside events, but rather on how we interpret them using that brain. Happiness, in fact, is a condition that must be prepared for, cultivated, and defended privately by each person. People who learn to control inner experience will be able to determine the quality of their lives, which is as close as any of us can come to being truly happy. And so as you think about your goals in light of this quote and the work that you did tonight in just a short amount of time to help reinstate the true essence of your being and who you are as a human child of God on this earth, I hope that you will choose fulfillment and that inner work that it takes to still all the voices around you and get clear about what your next best steps are. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. It has been my pleasure. The replay will be on the YouTube channel, and this is also live streamed to the Living Well Now Facebook page, so you can go back and catch it there as well. I am going to leave the chat open for a little while, or if I'd love to hear your experiences of what happened for you tonight, where you found sort of a breakthrough or a moment where clarity sort of took over and you realized it was time to get out of your own way. I love reading what you're going to do with your action step. I love the idea about feeling powerful when you follow up and how that makes you energized by that. I love it. Anyone have an experience of using the oils with the process tonight that they would like to share?
When you started talking about one thing that's been bugging me, it's family came up instead of my business.
And that sounds like it was a surprise to you.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
So I focused on that instead of my business because I think that's affecting my business.